Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. In this video, we are taking on the new Spiritus fight, so I am going to commentate over a video I pre-recorded. But basically in this fight, this isn't going to be like the best like stomp it down team you can do, but I wanted to do one that's clearing one of the missions. And one of the missions for this was only using Type 0 Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 7 characters. Now, I don't think you have to use one from each game, because the way it's worded, it just says only use characters from those games. So I think if you say did 3 Final Fantasy 7s or 3 zeros or 2 7s and a 0, I think it would still work. Somebody in the comments can clarify that. I just didn't want to take any chances, so I'm like, I'll just do one of each to kind of get it done. So obviously Tifa here is the one that is going to be carrying the damage. I brought Terra because I thought it would just be nice to have another FR just in case. But if you handle Tifa's FR correctly, we really actually didn't need Terra's FR here. And then Machina's just there for damage, but Machina in this situation actually wasn't that impressive, I'm going to be honest. He gets some counterattacks, you know, he gets the follow-up to the linchpin, but when he's not like the focus like BT phase FR, like he's just okay. And when he's doing his, you know, his really good HP plus attack with his BT effect up, it's still like less than what Tifa's doing on every button. So Tifa just shot up and like kind of brought Machina down a little bit, because like now I don't know that I'm going to use Machina nearly as much, because any situation, because literally Tifa is Machina's role. Like it's to be the big time heavy hitter, carry the damage doing first time. Well, that's what Tifa's going to do. Now I'm not mad at having Machina for any means. He's a great character. And there's definitely going to be a lot of lockout content where I'm still going to be glad I have him around. But if I were to redo this fight, I probably would have done better on this fight. And I mean, you can see Terra and Machina, they still do decent damage, right? But I feel like if I almost would have just double supported Tifa here, we probably would have been fine. Once again, thinking from 6 or 0, but I had thought about maybe even like just taking Rem as like a support, and I could just keep bringing Tifa up and giving her a bunch of turns. Maybe Cater is just like a nice dodge, you know, with a trap, you know, type character. Like she could have been kind of fun in here. I thought about Cater for the Type 0 slot. On the Final Fantasy 6 slot, I thought about maybe I could take Rem. Or sorry, not Rem, but Realm. I think Realm could have been pretty fun here. Maybe even somebody like Mog could have been kind of fun. Celis, I even entertained the idea of Celis, but I don't think this boss does a lot of magic-based attacks. Not that Celis, you have to do that, but she works really well if they're doing magic-based attacks. So. But I decided I just went with this full offense team. So just keep in mind when you see the numbers for like, you see like Terra there only 158k on a meteor, like that's really bad for her. But there's a couple of things kind of working against Terra and Machina here, and one is they're not synergy here. So Tifa's just gonna look better because she's got synergy. And typically when you're using Machina and Terra, they're usually getting a lot more support, right? And so we're not giving him nearly as much support. I think this boss is heavily hinders brave damage, which is why the crits are so important. Because you can't break, Terra and Machina aren't, you know, they struggle to crit a little bit more, whereas Tifa's like, I'm 100% critting all the time, right? So it is a little bit more of a lopsided fight here with Tifa just really carrying. I even gave Tifa the Luna Freya call, so that I can just give her like a little quick prayer if I wanted to, like before I go into the big FR thing. I'm pretty sure when I do it, I actually like time it in reverse. We'll talk about it when we get there, but yeah, look at those fat beat rushes. Like Tifa's just a beast, man. So much damage, absolutely love it. Love the dolphin blows coming through, getting the delay with the launch. Very good. But yeah, I talked about it in another video, like crit damage usually isn't an issue, right? Because anytime you're attacking a broken target, it's guaranteed crits. Well, anytime these crit characters come out, you know, like Barrett, you know, is an example of one, and Kate Sith is another one. Whenever these characters that either get 100% crit or enable crit to the party, they always do these boss fights where the bosses have a brave floor and you can't break them. So non-crit characters can really struggle with that, right? That being said, like a Kate Sith call could actually be pretty decent in this fight if you're using a character that, you know, has trouble critting here, right? So there I was just checking my debuffs really quick to make sure we're all good. So yeah, I decided, all right, let's just go into Machina, because the idea here is now I've got my force gauge And I've just slowly built it up to 82, right? I'm not running any force charges or anything here, so I'm just kind of taking the fight at a normal pace. Now that the force gauge is almost up there, I'm like, let's go ahead and get into Machina's BT, because then that way if Machina gets any attacks during the force time, I want to have his really good attack on, right? So now we can see we're at 97. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to get, like, I could have, like, spammed a turn and got her to 100, but I'm like, I want the BT effect up for sure for the force time. So that's the big thing that you don't want to miss timing with Tifa. You pretty much want to use her burst phase, like, the turn before you're going to go into force. Because you can see she's only got 8 turns of burst. You have to use one of those turns to use the force, and then you have 7 turns left, and you want all 7 turns of her burst effect for her burst phase, which you'll be doing because you want those double follow-ups throughout the entire burst phase with the force gauge up to really maximize out on the damage, right? So you can see Terra's going to take a turn here, and I don't remember if I used, I don't think I used Terra BT, so I think that's coming right here, just to help make all the characters look better. Yeah, so I dual cast because it's free, and then I think I go into Terra BT here to get her BT effect up. So here we're going to have triple BT effects up. We're going to have force time coming. Now, the part where I misplayed a little bit is what I should have done realistically was I should have used the Luna Freya call before I went into BT. Then with the quick prayer gone into BT, then force right away. Or even the way that I played it here where I did BT first, then on Tifa's turn here, I should have Luna Freya called first. It would have wasted a BT turn though, right? And then had the back-to-back turns to go force time, then burst. So instead what I do is I just do the force time, and then I have to, use up a couple of other character turns to get back to her. This is why, like, Luna Freya in the party is just so nice, because I could have Tifa set up with a nice quick prayer here, where I could go BT, force, BT phase, and, like, just have it, straight up, right? But we definitely do fine here, for sure. The damage is going to be flowing like crazy now. That was, just like a 3 mil shot right there, like, just ridiculous. So Terra, I'm just like, I just want to get out of the turn quick, so let's just do a quick little attack. Enemy's going to get a turn here. The nice thing about the enemy getting a turn, during this force is that Machina will counter with force time, and that'll be a little extra damage, right? So yeah, we take a little bit of a shot there. Machina comes through. Now damage is a little scary in this fight because I'm not bringing like a dedicated healer, right? So, but we do have some HP regen built in, so that helps. And I did bring some healing calls and HP regen calls just to make sure. So I did have to be a little strategic on that because when you're not running a dedicated healer in an aggressive fight, you have to be careful because you want to meet that HP requirement, right? Alright, so now Tifa's up. So now we're going to burst phase. Oh yeah, I battle cried for free first and then I went into the burst phase. Yeah, okay. And I think the reason why, yep, somersault. Yeah, okay. And then now we go into burst phase. The reason, yeah, okay. Because the reason why I did that first was because then I noticed we're at exactly 7 turns of force time. So the way I lined it up is we're going to line it up so the actual burst attack will come at the maximum HP damage bonus. So that's why I did that little extra battle cry there. And we do still have like her BT effect for pretty much the whole force time, which is fine. And so Tifa's just crazy because we're getting these big fat like 60 to 70% ups while doing all this insane damage. Full throttle just going insane here. Yeah, with the double follow-ups, like 8.7 mil, right? And we're like, just got to like the halfway point. Just insane the amount of damage Tifa does here, which we need it because this boss has what, like 218 million HP or something crazy. So like this boss was built for Tifa because if you saw my character guide in Tifa, like these other Shinryu bosses are not built for Tifa. Like she melts them away. So if you have any old Shinryus that are like permanent content that you haven't beaten, try taking Tifa in. She'll probably melt them out, probably beat whatever your turn count was, and have a pretty easy time of it. Because Tifa's out here doing damage. Not to mention we're getting the periodic launch here. That's the thing with Tifa is even without like Ffvi going crazy, she can just provide her own launches anyway. So I think that was just a little casual 19 mil shot right there. So now we're going in, I think, yeah, so we're going to beat rush, and then we're going to do the FR, and then we're going to get the BT attack, and we're going to be at max percentage. So we get a lot of damage. Yeah, 14 mil shot right there. 70% up on the gauge. Then we're going to go to the force attack, which this does a lot of damage. I love that Rem is here, by the way, too. That's the other reason I kind of wanted to bring Rem to this fight, is because he's also part of the force effect. Very, very good. I'm pretty sure Rem does have a force on JP. I would be very hyped for that. Okay, so yeah, there's 18 mil shot. Sure, we'll take it. And then now we're down to 1 turn, but we lined it up now so that she's getting the BT effect right here. So that's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and take our BT attack and just do a lot of damage. And this isn't like a super optimized one. For Tifa, though, without any support around here, like, look at this burst phase that we get. Look at the damage that pops up here. So we just did, yeah, a 91 mil burst phase, and that was without support characters. So, and we didn't really have any crazy calls on. I think we had a couple of little debuffs there, but like, you can optimize that way better and probably put her over 100 mil there, right? That's just crazy, crazy burst phase. Ridiculous. And then, so now, you know, we've taken a little bit of damage, but now basically our goal is just to ramp up to another force. So here's, I'm kind of strategic here. Tifa now has 8 burst turns again. My thought is we really need to optimize her burst effect. So we need the somersault, water kicks, whatever. We need these follow-ups during the next force time. So now I'm not bringing a true force charger, but what I decide to do here is use Terra as a pseudo force charger. And what I mean by that is Terra is just going to loop turns with her own kit. So she's going to basically do some Chaos Wave loops here, where we just take a ton of turns. Now, even though Terra isn't a force charger, we're not pumping the gauge up a ton, but we literally can just take so many turns that we push the gauge up to darn near full just by looping a bunch of Terra turns. Because I'm like, after I saw how far we took the HP bar down on the enemy, right? He's at what, 42%? I'm like, we know we don't have Tifa's burst, right? So my thought is the next force isn't going to be as powerful. Like, we're not going to get that 91 mil. But my thought is if I can get to Tifa with her still having like at least maybe 6 turns of her burst effect, and I could even just spam her 15 attack and just take a bunch of free turns, that can act like a burst phase, essentially, right? I can just spam the turns. My thought is I can easily basically get this guy down to either dead or like close enough to dead that it won't be that much of a pain to just finish him off, right? So that's my thought here. So we're just kind of going with Terra, and we're just spamming through. So basically I take all of her free attacks, I get to the end of her loop. So here's the end of her loop. We use the HP plus, which is a free attack, dual cast. Now I'm at a point where I'm out of free turns, so now I'm going to go back and loop the LD again, and we're just going to keep doing. And you can see that gauge is building up. Once again, it's not like Ffvii or Ffvi building it up, where they can do it a lot quicker, but I'm just like, yeah, let's just burn Terra out here, because I'm confident enough. So what I'm sacrificing here is like, I'm basically at this point deciding I don't need Terra's force time, because if you get Terra's force time, you want to have these chaos waves, right? And I'm like, Tifa's doing so much overwhelming damage. This boss has so much HP. Like, you really need that top tier damage here, unless you want to have like a ridiculously long fight, which I was not in the mood for right now, right? I'm like, let's get it done quick. So here we go. Second chaos wave. We're going to go through all of the attacks here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get to the end of the loop, essentially. Then we are going to do the free HP plus dual cast, and then we are going to chaos wave again. And you can see Terra's, you know, and the nice thing is Terra is putting in some numbers, but you can see 200k, that's not normally the number she puts up there. Like, she's normally doing way better damage. So after realizing that, you know, these non-featured offensive characters, they're just not putting up like what you want. Like I said, if I were to redo this fight, I would jump in with a bunch of support. Now, if I'm just doing this fight not worried about those specific missions, I'm probably taking Tifa, Lunafreya, and Core, I think is what I would take here. And I think Lunafreya, Tifa, and Core would absolutely blow this guy up. Like, insanely blow this guy up. Now, I don't know that one force is going to cover it just because his HP pool is so ridiculous. But I think for sure, by the time you get to that second one, he's out of here before the force time's even done. Because you can see in this situation, once again, this isn't super optimized for Tifa. We're not giving her the support we normally get. And we still get this done with basically 2 force times. So, here's the end of this loop with Terra. We got the dual cast, free attack. Let's take it. Okay, and Terra's, you know, slowly but surely burnt down like 3% off of this guy on her own, so that's fine, right? And then, so we're at the end of the loop now. We've used all the LDs, so let's finally do a regular attack. But you can see we started this thing at what, like 40%? After Terra's turn, we're up to 90. So now it's like, oh yeah, between Machina and Terra's next turn, we're going to have that up to 100. So we basically stalled that out. Tifa literally ended the last force, had one turn of her burst effect, and Terra stalled out enough that we got to the next force gauge, and the enemy only got one turn of their force time. So we essentially used Terra as a force charger, even though she's not a force charger. Once again, had to burn out all of her LD uses, but I kind of treated Terra more of as a support here in that situation, right? So now we're at 100%, we're good. Terra can just do whatever attack she wants right here. Definitely don't want to touch that force button by mistake there with Terra. Okay, and then here's the nice thing. When Tifa goes into force, it's going to cancel out the enemy's force, so we don't have to worry about that, right? So let's go ahead and drop it. Drop it like it's hot, right? So here we go. By the way, I am rocking the level 50 brothers here as well. So keep that in mind. Actually, is it the level 50 brothers or is it a 49? It's a 49 or a 50, but I think it is a level 50 brothers. I'm pretty sure at the time I recorded this, I had brothers done. So here we are. We're in force time. Once again, wasn't really set up with a quick prayer type situation, so I couldn't spam in. So we have to give Terra a turn. We have to give Machina a turn. But then basically, I let Tifa carry it the rest of the way. So we get through the attack there. We're good. We use the Furious Blade's Burst. Why not? It's the big attack, right? And the nice thing is it is single target, so, you know, we do get some ups there. Alright, so now what I'm like is, alright, well, I think, yeah, here's where I use it right here. So here I use the Lunafreya. Now, obviously not great to use this during Force, but I really wanted some power. So I did opt to use it here so that I could do like my... The idea is I wanted Tifa to have consecutive turns. So I put a little quick prayer on. Now it's nice because I can LD, which is going to give me full throttle, which I really want here, right? So I LD. I know I did sacrifice a big HP up there, right? So it's kind of a give and take, but I figured overall it's going to allow Tifa to take these consecutive turns that I need. So we do that. Then, instead of full throttle, I got 2 turns still, right? So now I think I Dolphin Blow, get that big EX out of here. Yup. Perfect. Get a nice little launch action. Unfortunately, we don't have Machina up, so we only get 1 attack on the launch, right? So we kind of have to deal with that. Okay, but you can see 10 mil, we're getting this guy bursted down. Now I've got the full throttle, which is a free turn. And then I can full throttle and then start going into battle cries, basically. So I full throttle, really big hit here. Once again, we got the BT effect, which is great. About a 10 mil shot. And then we can battle cry, and we get a free battle cry here. So basically, I'm like, yep, Terra's not getting a turn in this force time. We are just taking Tifa the whole way here. Now, here's kind of the strat. Now that we've got these level 50 summons, what you kind of want to do is what I do here. You want to get to your last turn of force time when it's at the highest percentage. You pop that summon. These level 50 summons do a lot of damage now. So you can capitalize on some extra damage with these level 50 summons. So we'll go ahead. We're on 2 turns left. So I'm like, yep, battle cry again. And then basically my plan here is get to the last turn. We're going to pop the summon and do the biggest, fattest attack Tifa's got. So we still got up to 600%, right? And once again, that was Terra taking a turn, not raising the gauge very much, using the LD call. So that was 2 raises we really didn't get. So now what we're going to do is we are going to pop this sucker here. And I think instead of LD, I do opt to Dolphin Blow here because I'm going to get the launch damage with it. So you can see a nice big chunk of damage there. We're going to EX here for the Dolphin Blow. Oh, I did decide to Meteor Crusher. Okay, I thought I Dolphin Blowed here. Alright, so we did Meteor Crusher instead, which is fine. We get the full throttle. Okay, so we got that, and then now we're basically in. Now, here's the thing. This boss does that sneaky thing where he puts that big HP shield up. So at this point, we just gotta burn through that HP shield, and then he just dies. So we basically finish out the summon here. And I think pretty much when we come out of the summon, he just blows up. It's within a turn or 2 after coming out of the summon. We just blow this guy up and we're good. So when you saw that big damage on the end with the LD, the HP damage we actually saw didn't look that impressive, but we took out a bunch of that HP shield there. So that's why that last shot didn't look that impressive. But This helps us melt that shield down quite a bit. And then, yeah, we're just basically blasting through at this point, and then just trying to finish the fight. So that's basically the fight there. Now, I know some people have been struggling with this guy, just because he has that brave floor of like 20k. So he can just like one-shot anybody with under 20k HP, right? So I think you need to, if you're, yeah, see, just right out he pops. So if you're struggling with it, try bringing more of like a tank or a damage mitigation, or bring a lot of delay, because he is single target and you can just kind of delay him to oblivion and then he just won't be able to attack you, right? So anyways, guys, there you go. There's my team for the mission of having a 6, a type 0, and a 7 character. Once again, I don't think you actually have to have one of each. I think you just have to only use characters from those games. So there's my setup. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch y'all on the next one.